Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys. I received it as a WhatsApp voice note. And then our dear sister, she then said, please do not post my voice note even if you change it. Just try to write it down, then you will do a narration. So this is a narration of the voice note that I received from our dear sister. The message reads like this. Hello brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post for me? But when you post my story, please hide my identity. I am a woman who is married and currently I am staying with my husband. Me and my husband, we only have one child. We have been struggling for many years to have another baby, but even though we have been trying so hard to have another baby, I don't know why I cannot fall pregnant anymore. So what happened to me is that me and my husband, by the time that we were in matric, that is when I discovered that I had fallen pregnant. When I discovered that I had fallen pregnant, for a moment I was a little bit confused because at that time I was dating two guys. I was dating my boyfriend whom we used to attend the same class. Then I was dating an older guy who was like a blesser to me. This blesser of mine, I had met him when I was still in high school, but I didn't love him as such. I only loved him because he gave me a lot of money. Then my boyfriend whom I was attending the same class with, that one, I really love him with all of my heart. So by the time that I discovered that I was pregnant, I then chose to get married to my boyfriend whom I was attending the same class with. So my boyfriend, my brother, when I started staying with him, it was not like I stopped seeing that guy who was my blesser. With my blesser, we kept on dating until he passed away. This blesser of mine, he used to give me a lot of money. After me and my current husband had dropped out of high school, we then chose that it was far much better for him to go to college because he wanted to study mechanical engineering, but his parents, they didn't have that kind of money for him to go to college. I did a lot of sacrifices for my current husband. If it was not for the sacrifices that I did, I don't think that me and my husband will be in the same position that we are in right now. The success that my husband got, it was all because of me. What I'll do is that whenever my blesser would give me money, then I'll give that money to my husband. I'll just lie to my husband that my parents had given me the money, or I would lie to him that there was this other hustle that I was doing that had given me the money. So with the money that I was getting from the blesser, that is the money that took my husband to college. By the time that I discovered that I had fallen pregnant, I then chose to get married to my current husband because as for my blesser, he was way older than I was, because at that time when I fell pregnant, I was somewhere around 16 years of age. So I told him that I cannot be his wife, and I told him that I wanted to get married to my boyfriend whom I was attending the same class with. When I told my blesser that I was going to get married to my boyfriend, he then said, before you go and get married to your boyfriend, please, can we just meet? At least we can go outing for the last time, because I don't want to continue dating you after you have become someone's wife. I then agreed and I said this will be for the last time, but he didn't tell me where exactly we were supposed to go. I then lied to my boyfriend and his parents. I told my boyfriend that my parents had discovered that I had fallen pregnant, and my mother had chased me out of the house, and my mom had told me that I was supposed to go back to the village, and when I will be at the village, I was supposed to speak with my father's sister as per our custom. She was the one who was supposed to go with me to my boyfriend's house so that we can get married. This, my brother, was nothing but a lie, because as for my parents, they knew that I had fallen pregnant, and I had told them whom I had and I had told them the guy who had impregnated me. My parents had actually encouraged me to go back to school because they said that at the age of 16, I was not yet ready for marriage. So when they encouraged me that it is far much better for me to go back to school, I then took that opportunity to lie to them that I wanted to go to the village so that I can speak with my auntie, and I knew that my auntie didn't have a phone or anything. There was a greater opportunity that I will go on a vacation with my blesser before I can get married to my husband. My brother, when I lied to my boyfriend and his parents, when I said that my parents had kicked me out of the house and they told me to go to the village, then my boyfriend's mother gave me a phone and money. She told me that I was supposed to use the phone when I am in the village so that I can get in touch with her. After my boyfriend's mother had given me the phone, when I returned back home, I then gave that phone to my little sister, and I told her that when my boyfriend's mother called me, she was supposed to pretend as if she could not hear her. She was supposed to say hello, hello, like there is a network problem. Then she was supposed to communicate with her only using SMSs. After that, my father then told me to get in the car because he wanted to drop me off at the place where I was supposed to get the bus which will take me back to the village. My brother, when I got onto the bus, then my father drove back home. But once my father had drove back home, I then got off the bus. I then contacted that guy whom I was dating, my blesser. He came and he picked me up. When he picked me up, there was a little bit of a fight between him and the bus driver because I was supposed to pay the ticket for the bus. Then he paid the ticket for the bus and I got off the bus. Then we went back to his place. On the first night when we went to his place, we slept at his place. Then he told me that I was supposed to go and bath. So I went to the bathroom and I started bathing. After I had finished bathing, when I returned to his bedroom, I saw that on the bed he had placed a nightgown. This nightgown, my brother, it was a white gown. All this while, he had locked himself in another room. What he was doing in that room, I do not even know, but when he heard that I had finished bathing, he came back into the bedroom. Then he took the nightgown that he had placed on the bed. Then he started dressing me, but the way that he was dressing me, it was not like he was dressing me romantically, but it was as if he was dressing a little girl. After he had finished dressing me, he then took this lotion. This lotion, it was in a very small bottle, but it seemed to be very expensive. Then he started rubbing that lotion all over my stomach, my hands and my face. But my brother, this lotion, it really had a bad smell. And I asked him why this lotion that looked so expensive had a bad smell like that. I thought that maybe the lotion was expired because it was really smelling as if it was poo. After I had asked him why this lotion was smelling like this, I saw that he was really angry. Then he asked me, why are you saying that this lotion is smelling like this? Do you know how much this lotion cost? I then said, no, I don't know. He then showed me the price of that lotion that was smelling like that. My brother, I think that this lotion, it can cost you somewhere around 1.5 to 1,600 US dollars. So this thing, it really confused me as to how this lotion that could be so expensive can be smelly like this. But when I told him that his expensive lotion was so smelly like poo, he was really angry and he said that he didn't want to have sexual intercourse with me. So we went to bed. When we were in bed, my brother, what this blesser of mine would do is that whenever he would see that I am about to fall asleep, then he will start rubbing my stomach. And by the time that he will be rubbing my stomach, he would put that smelly lotion on my stomach and he would continue rubbing like that. As for me, I don't know why I never bothered to ask him why he was rubbing my stomach like that with the smelly lotion. I was only 16 years old at that time, so I didn't even thought that it was important to ask him why he was rubbing my stomach, yet I was pregnant with that smelly lotion of his. After that, we then went to Victoria Falls. That is where the party was at, and he was the host because he had his friends who were from Zambia. Then there was another woman. This woman, she was a much older lady. This lady, she was from South Africa. At that time, this lady, I think that she might have been somewhere around 68 or maybe 70 years old. She was quite an old lady. So this lady, when I saw her, she had this other guy whom she was with. So at first I thought that maybe this boy, it was her son, because this boy was somewhere around 12 years old. But I was shocked when I knew that this boy was that older lady's boyfriend. My brother, when we were there in Victoria Falls, all our partners, they had their girlfriend, and that lady from South Africa, she had her own younger boyfriend. So they gave us an instruction. They told us that we were not supposed to tell the hotel staff that we had come on this vacation with our sexual partners. We were supposed to pretend as if our sexual partners, they were our parents. This is what we used to do. So me and that younger boy who was from South Africa, he was booked in his own room, and I was booked in my own separate room. This room that I was booked in, it was just opposite the room where my blesser was staying. Then that older South African lady, she was booked in a room which was down the corridor. So they would go out partying. Then late at night, when they would have returned back in their rooms, that is when they would call us and they would tell us that we were supposed to come to their rooms. So me and that younger boy who was from South Africa, we used to watch TV. Well, at least we will be waiting for our partners. But as we were watching the movies, then he used to tell me a lot of stories. Then he told me this story that still traumatizes me even up until today. I can't even forget the story that he told me. So that younger boy told me that whenever he is having intercourse with that older lady that he was dating, he said that the older lady sometimes have intercourse with him, but using the other way that is not the natural way. When he told me this story, my brother, I didn't even know how to ask him how that lady manages to do that, to have sexual intercourse with him using the other way that is not the natural way. He seemed to be so traumatized about the relationship. So my brother, that blesser of mine, after we had returned from that vacation, and when I was staying now with my boyfriend, who is my current husband, that blesser of mine, he then spent about 9 months avoiding to have sexual intercourse with me. There were many times that he would call me and he would tell me that he wanted to meet up with me. So whenever I would meet up with him, what he will do is that he would touch me and he will strip me naked, and he will then sleep on the bed, and he will tell me that I was supposed to suck his manhood. He only wanted oral sex from me when I was pregnant. He avoided to have sex with me. He only wanted oral sex. By the time that I gave birth, I was supposed to go with my newborn baby. You know, as ladies, after you have given birth, when your baby has reached 3 days, you are supposed to go back to the clinic with your baby. So at that time, my husband was now going to college, and I was the one who was sponsoring him, even though him and his parents, they didn't even know that all of this money, my blesser was the one who was giving me the money. So my parents boyfriends, they were the ones that were taking care of us, and at that time things were not working out for them financially, so there was no money for me to go to the clinic. I then spoke with my blesser. I told him that I was asking for some money so that I can go with my child to the clinic, because at the place where we were staying, going to the clinic, it was quite a long distance, so I needed some money for transport. He said it is fine. He was going to come and pick me up so that I can go to the clinic. I then told him a place where he was supposed to park his car, in a place where people were not going to see us together. So he then parked his car and I got out of the house pretending as if I was going to the clinic. I then went to the place where he had parked his car and I got into his car. We then drove off, but when he drove off, he didn't take me to the government hospital. He went with me to this other private clinic. This, my brother, me and that blesser that I was dating before he passed away, we used to go to those private clinic with my baby. This we did for about 2 years. The reason why we used to go to those private clinic, it was because at the government hospitals, sometimes you can spend the whole day there. So he wanted to spend some time with me, so we would go to the private clinic early in the morning, and maybe around 9:30 my baby would have gotten his immunization and stuff, and we will go back to my blesser's house, and once we are there, we will then have intercourse. But my brother, what really shocks me is that after I had given birth, on that day when my blesser came to collect me so that he can go with me to the clinic, he then forced to have intercourse with me whilst I was still bleeding, my brother. He didn't use any kind of protection. He just had intercourse with me whilst I was bleeding like that. You know that after you've given birth, you'll be having that heavy bleeding, but still he forced to have intercourse with me. It was like really painful, because as he was having intercourse with me, I really felt like he was breaking those stitches that were down there, but he kept on having intercourse with me. My brother, that blesser of mine, he just had a sudden death. This secret of mine, even my husband does not even know that all of those sacrifices that I did for him so that he can be able to go to college and study for mechanical engineering, it was because I was busy sleeping around with that blesser of mine. My brother, the thing that shocks me the most is that the blesser had the nerves to have sexual intercourse with me, even though I was bleeding like that. You know, that heavy bleeding. This story of mine, my little sister, she knows about this story. She does not know that I once went on a vacation with my blesser. She just thought that at that time when I had gone to the village, I had gone to see my other boyfriend, but she does not even know that it was a blesser that I was dating at the same time that I was dating my current boyfriend. Dear listeners, right there was a message that I received as a WhatsApp voice note. Then our dear sister asked me not to share a voice note, so I had to do a narration of that voice note.